So, we all have heard about motorbikes and cars being a form of therapy for a lot of people. Throttle therapy, as they call it. I'm here to tell you that you may think it works, but it doesn't really. It's not exactly therapy. They're just distractions from the issues one might be facing in life. A very beautiful distraction, mind you, but a distraction nonetheless. Don't get me wrong, I'm neither a therapist nor am I telling you what to do, but I'm only here to talk about my own experience and what I can see. Recently, I've been seeing a lot of TikToks about how bikes and cars are the best form of therapy, and spending money on fuel and going for drives or rides are more beneficial than spending money on therapy. I agree with the second bit, but I do the first bit, but I do not agree with the second bit. It, going on drives and rides can definitely help. It can definitely help clear your head, but that's only when you're cruising. When you're speeding, it's a whole different story because you're trying to focus on the speed and not dying, which works perfectly as a distraction but not as therapy because it doesn't give you time to think, focus, and ponder and heal from what you're facing. What it does, it gives you a thing to focus on for that minute, and that's it. It's just a distraction. So, for me, I've now owned a motorbike for over 2 years, and I have used speed as therapy before, but slowly, honestly, I started to realize that the problem still stays. The problem is still there. It didn't go anywhere. The thoughts didn't go anywhere. But speeding, all it did was have fun, but more importantly, put myself and others on the road in danger. Yeah, I was feeling like shit at the time, right? But that's no excuse to putting somebody else's life in danger just in case I can't control my bike for whatever reason. All that ride was distraction. All the rides were just distraction. And afterwards, sure, I felt great for a few minutes, but that was just adrenaline, right? It didn't help me heal. And all it did was postpone the healing for a few minutes. That's it. Motorbikes are beautiful, don't get me wrong, they're beautiful pieces of art, but they are not your therapist. They can help, that is, help you heal over time and bounce back from whatever you're dealing with, but that's through cruising around town, going on twisties or anything like that, and following the speed limit, maybe going a little bit above. But if you're going like 160 down the motorway, that's just dangerous, right? And honestly, I found a plenty of articles you can find online that help prove my point, right? This specific article from TVS, an Indian motorbike company, highlights some of the benefits, like how euphoric it is to go for a ride just to explore the outskirts of a town, and that riding has proven to be a stress buster. But motorcycles are inherently dangerous, right? There is always a fine line and risk from not coming back from a ride. There's always a danger, and that's what I'm here to point out. The dangers of riding a motorbike or driving a car as quote unquote therapy. Yes, riding and driving helps, as I said. They can help you relieve stress, anxiety, help you overcome whatever. But that is as long as you're staying safe under the legal speed limit. Not exactly the legal speed limit, but like just staying safe, right? And not putting others at risk. There's also a Reddit thread that I'll link below that talks about the same points I've been talking about and has multiple people and their stories and comments and a couple other articles that I found that I'll also leave in link below. That being said, I just want to tell you a quick story about my own life. Right. So at home, I had a huge fight. Right. At like it was late, it was dark, just stopped raining, but it was still wet outside. And after this huge fight, I went to blow off steam because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't want to stay at home, and I just went to blow off some steam. I left. My eyes started watering a little bit. I didn't pay much attention. I just kept going because I didn't know what else to do. Just just ride. I did for a while, came up to a red light and I started fully crying. There were some harsh words being said, hurtful words. After a little bit, the lights changed and I tried to make my right turn. I was turning right at the time. And because of my eyes, the rain, and all of that, I wasn't paying enough attention or something, and I didn't notice the wet gravel on the road, and I slid my bike in the middle of the intersection. That was the first ever crash and the first ever bit of damage I did to my beautiful, beautiful Ninja 400 at the time, and it broke me even further. Like I was at that point, I was fully boiling on the side of the sidewalk. But thankfully, my friend's house was nearby, so I walked my bike over, stayed the night. But anyway, moral of the story: be safe out there. Don't ride when your head's not screwed on straight, right? There's no point in hurting yourself or somebody else physically when you're already hurting emotionally, right? It's better to stay home, try to calm yourself down, and just honestly ride your own ride. Don't spread misinformation on the internet. I get for some people it does help, but for new riders it's always tough. You don't, you know what I mean? Like you don't want them to think it's therapy and all that. Let them decide for themselves. So yeah, don't spread misinformation out there for people that haven't ridden before, and that's it. Stay safe out there, don't die, and thank you so much for watching.